Okay, good morning and welcome to Mishna Yomi. Today we'll be starting the fourth parak on Maseches Terumos. Mishnah is Aleph and Beis. Mishnah Aleph says, "Amafresh mixes truma masros." Let's say this person has this pile of grain. He's starting to take off trumas and masros, right? Motzi men truma olav avalo lamakom acher. So let's say recommended you're supposed to give 2% of your grain to the kohen as truma gedola. You took off 1%, right? And you stopped. You had to go to the bathroom. You had to go get a snack. You were hungry. You wanted to watch some TV. So you took a break, and then you plan on coming back and taking off the other percent because the Kohen really is supposed to get 2%. You want to do it give him what you're supposed to get. So if you took off, you came back from your break and you took off another 1%. So we assume that the stuff you took off was from Tevel, right? Because technically, after you took off 1%. The pile was already mesukon, right? Midoraisa is mesukon. Even chita achas poteret kol akri, even one stalk of wheat, a large granary, potters everything. Midoraisa, but since that's the same, you're doing it for this pile, so we could assume it's just a continuation. But if you want to use this pile to potter a different pile, every pile has to have their own. Right? Just because let's say you have 100 stalks of grain in one pile, 100 stalks of grain in the other pile. So on this grain you have to take off 2%. On the other pile you also have to take off two stalks of grain. So so if you want to start with 1% on this, and then you want to continue and do 2% on the other one. So there we don't allow you to do that. We assume we say you can't do that, and maybe what you took off is from the Masukkan already, which is not valid. It's already Masukkan, right? Once you take off one grain from one piece of grain from one pile, so the rest, the 99% remaining, is considered chulin already. It's not considered tevel anymore. Tevel is stuff that you didn't take off shumas and maisos. The rest is considered Masukkan. When you take off shumas and maisos from Masukkan, it doesn't work. It has to be tevel and maisos have to be taken off from tevel. So it doesn't work for a different pile. We're going to explain that this sheet, the Rabbanu, we paskin like in Mishna. We're going to explain a little more fully, which ties in coincidentally to the Ian I gave in Yevamos on Daf Kuf Yud Gimel today. Rameir Omer Eaf Motzu L'Makom Acher Shmos Amaisos. Rameir is Mekel. He said you could even do it for a different pile, and we don't hold like him. Biz Mishahayu Peros and Magura. He had his fruits, he had his apples, his nectarines, his peaches. They were in storehouse. V'nasan Sal Ben Levi V'Sal Ani. Now we're talking about Amoritz over here. He's not so careful. Truma Gdola lo nechshad Amei Aretz. Amei Aretz, we assume they gave off Truma Gdola, but Meiser Rishon and Meiser Levi, Meiser Rishon to give to a Levi, and Truma Gdola is very chomer, because Truma Gdola is Misa B'dei Shamayim if a Zar eats it, but Meiser is really cool, and even a Zar could eat it. Meiser Ani also a Zar could eat it. So you saw him giving a saw. He has, let's say, 10 saw. He gave one saw, which is 1/10 to a Levi, and 1/10 to an Ani, which is basically what he's supposed to do. Meiser is 1/10. Mafresh at Shmona Sayin Ba'ochlan the Remeir. Now we're talking about a chaver is coming to eat by his house, right? The rabbi is coming to eat by the Balabas's house in his modern Orthodox town, and you can't trust this guy. But he saw he gave the Meiser Rishon, the Meiser, and the Meiser Ani, and we assume he took off Truma Gedola. So you could eat the rest. You could eat eight parts, right? If you're serving a lot of food, you could eat up to 8 saw, because at least that those 10 saws were taken care of. The Chacham are concerned that a Balabayas. I'm going to explain this the first way the Rav explains it. Most of the Mepharshim don't explain it the Rav, but this is a simple explanation. The Chacham say that you can't just eat as much food as you want. I mean, say bring out some more food. No, whatever the guy puts at the Balabayas puts at his table, we assume he knows the chaver, the rabbi's coming. He wanted to take off Meiser Rishon, Meiser Ani. So whatever you assume he gave to them, he gave with a full heart. He wasn't giving them a matana. He was giving them from his trumas and Meiser, the potter, to make sure it wasn't devil. But whatever he puts out on the table, you could eat. But they ask him to bring more food. We don't assume he took off all of it. He fixed all of his grain, because nechshad do amei aretz on Meiser Rishon and Meiser Ani. So therefore, only what you put in front of you can rely on. If not. See you in Mishna. We'll talk more about the first Mishna that we dealt with today.